Hello and welcome to this video where we're going to look at combining the if statement with the and or functions to create a truly powerful formula. We've done videos on each of these separately, so links to those should be on the screen now. So if you haven't, by all means go check them out so you understand how each of those function works on its own, or you can alternatively reference back to them if you need to at the end of the video. We're going to jump straight into the video. Often in our videos we'll go through a slide that talks about how each of the functions is broken down and what parts are required when we're creating that formula. But that's all available in those previous videos, and also, to be honest, to try and give that summary of how these are going to fit together, it could cause more confusion than there actually is. So we're going to jump straight into Excel and work through some examples using both the and the or, and show you how they work. Okay, so we're now in Excel and we've got our two examples, well, two separate tables of examples, but each one's got four as such in it. The first one is going to be looking at using and with the if statement, and the second table of examples is going to be using or with the if statement. To work for these examples, we have two columns of test 1 and test 2. Each one just contains a different result, so a yes or a no answer. So we can see we've got a yes, no, yes, yes, no, 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 yes, and that's in the same order in the second table. Each table has a different description or test we're trying to apply to those columns. So we'll work through those. We'll populate the single function on its own, so whether it's and or here. What will just be the true or false, so we can see how that's working, and then we'll combine the two together with the if statement to give us the result in E, so we can get our final formula. So let's start working through this. So the first test we're doing in the first table is to identify, are both values yes? So as we can see visually, we can look down all of our test results in column A and B for this first table, and we can see there's only one scenario like that in in row 6, where both the values are yes. So that's great to be able to visualize that, but as always in our examples, we're working on the basis that we have a lot of data, and we're not going to just go manually looking through it. We want the formula to do it for us. So to do this, the first part we're going to do is just do an and formula on its own. So to do so, we do an equal sign followed by and then open brackets. And so what we have here is we've got our logical tests we need to perform to validate. So the first one we need to check is this first value in column A, so we select that cell reference of A5, is that equal to our desired result of yes? So that's the first part. And then the second part, because we want to test if both are yes, we then can do exactly the same, but for the test result in B. So this time we're going to do the cell reference B5, sorry, and then if that's equal to yes as well. And then once we've entered those, we can close our brackets to complete the formula, because we just have those two entries. And we'll hit enter. And we can see for that top one, we get a false result. If we drag that down, so we get that same formula applied to these other values, we can see that here we go, row 6, as we mentioned visually, is true. Both of those values is a yes. So that's great. So what we can do is bring the if statement in. And the reason, just to give a summary, why it's powerful to combine the and function and with the if statement is, with the and statement, okay, we're just getting a true or a false, whereas by combining it with the if, we can now determine what value we want to return, or not value we want to return, but what we want to happen based on the true or false result. And as we step through, you'll see how I mean, and that'll come together. So as we're putting the the and function into, or nesting it into the if statement, we need to start with our if. So what we'll do is do equals if for our if statement and open brackets. So as you can see from our prompt that comes up, the first part of our if statement, as we know, is our logical test. And our logical test is just going to be this and function or and formula we've used here in column D. So to remember it off by heart and just to enter in, we can now straight away type and, open brackets, and now obviously re-enter the and function we did. So we had cell reference A5, is that equal to yes, followed by is the test number 2 in cell reference B5. Is that also equal to yes? And then close brackets. And you can see on our prompt, because we're now typing in the AND function, you can see that we've got our prompt for our AND formula. As soon as I do my close brackets here, it's now gone back to the if statement because we've completed the AND function part. And you can see we're still within this logical test here. But we're happy that we've entered our AND formula, and this is our full logical test that's going to give us a true or false result, as we know from what we've now put in a column D. So we can just enter our comma, and then move on to the determining what happens if it's true or if it's false. So what we can now do here is obviously give a more meaningful response to that rather than just a true or false. So if the value is true, what do we want to say? We could put in quotes, and we're going to type this. Most of this bits are typed in, so like the value we're looking for of yes, we're going to type them in. You could just cell reference to values if they're existing on the sheet. It's just we're going to type them in as it. Hopefully, it'll be a bit easier and clear for you just to see the inputs that are going into this. So the value if true, we'll put so if both are yes, we'll put both yes. And then if it's a false, we'll put something on the similar lines, but we'll put both are not yes. So maybe a bit, that might be able to shorten or make that a bit simpler, but in short, we've got our logical test of AND. That'll give us the true or false result. If it's true, we're going to display the message both are yes. If it's a false, and neither or both of them are not a yes value in the two tests, then we'll return the false response of both are not yes. And then close our brackets and then hit enter. And we might need to just expand this a bit. Cool, so we can see for this first one, we know from doing our AND formula or function on its own that we had a false result, so we can expect our false response in the result, and both are not yes. If we drag this down, we know it's going to be the same for most of them, but actually for this one with a true, we can see that both are yes. So that is just a very simple way of how you can use that. Obviously, you could be any different type of text you want to put in here. Like I said before, you could reference another cell reference for doing something, or you might even add formulas into here. It's just a really good way of combining this AND function so that you can look at two pieces of criteria rather than just evaluating on just one single feed coming into the if statement. So that's using AND. So we're going to do exactly the same but using the OR. And the simple difference being is with AND, both of the statements or the logical tests you do within the AND function have to be true. Whereas with the OR statement, we're saying as long as one or the other or one of those logical tests is true, then we will give a true result. So we can step through that now. So what we'll do is go, so we can see this time our description, our test is one of the tests are yes. So we just want one of the tests for each of this to be a yes. So to our OR function, we do our equals OR, open brackets. So the first type we want test is this. So it's exactly the same inputs as the AND function in summary. So cell reference A14 or test number 1, is that equal to yes? And then the second part, test number 2, is that equal to yes? And close brackets, and that is the full test. And then we can drag that down. Cool, and we can see it's the reverse of what we did the first one. Whereas in the first table, we only had one result where it was true because we were looking for both yes. Whereas because this time we're only concerned if one or either test 1 or test 2 has that yes value, we can see that it's basically a yes or it's a true return for everything apart from row 16. So that we can see our OR statement has given us outcome. So what we'll do now is then include that into our if statement to determine what result we want to present based on the true or the false result. So as we know, logical test, this is just going to be our OR function. So we type in OR, open brackets, and then retype in, is that test number 1 equal to yes? And is that equal to yes? And I just used the word and there. It's not and, it's or. So just to revise that, so our or statement we have there is if test number 1 in cell reference A14 is yes, or that in reference B14 of test number 2 is that yes. And then we just close our bracket, and you can see from our prompt we're still in the logical test of if, so we just need to enter our comma to move on to the value if true. So this time we can add our return and say one of the tests are true. This is getting quite a long string here. And then this time we'll put maybe neither test is true, and close brackets. So we can see in recap we've got our logical test of our if statement is our or function, and then the second part here, so the value if true is we're going to return this text here, one of the tests are true, and if it's a false response we're going to present the text of neither test is true. Cool, and then we just hit enter. And once again, we need to expand this because we've got a bit more text than planned. And then we can drag that down. So we can see that our result is now, yep, for 3 of those, aligning to those true in column D. One of the tests are true. Hold on, bother put true. It's not true. It's one of the tests are yes. And the same with this one. Neither test is yes. There we go, and then we just pull this down. And we see it's updated. So, like I was then saying, in line with our true statements here in column D, for the 3 that have true, we've got that true response of one of the tests are yes. And for the false, we can see that neither test is yes. And then you can see that formula again back at the top there for reference how it works. So we hope that was very useful for you. As we said before, we've got those previous videos looking at each of these functions on their own. So go check those out in our previous uploads if you want to go and either one, see how to use them, or you just need a bit of a recap to remind yourself. As always, please do remember to like and subscribe, hit that bell notification to ensure that you are notified every time a new video of ours comes out. We've got various links in the description to this video for our Facebook and website if you want to check those out. Any questions, feel free just to drop us a comment below or reach out to us on Facebook or our website, whatever is more suitable to you. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.